everyone in this town is basically a Democrat. So that doesn't necessarily reflect that they're pursuing similar values that you want to see reflected in the party when they're elected. And so I think that kind of voter education, that's been going on for a couple of years, coupled with the fact that there's more organization sets up the people who are running this time for a lot more success. Obviously, showing up as a strength of SF Yimby doesn't mean we always win. We haven't always won, but we have also had big successes too. And that you got to get out there and do it.
Yeah, what would you say are some of the big successes that you could point to over the last 4 years that kind of give you an indication that maybe sentiment is heading in a Yimby direction in the city?
I think the election of some of the supervisors that we saw in 2022 is a good sign. Having someone like Joel Engardio who, is trying to move the Sunset in a better direction and realizes that you're not gonna just build a bunch of apartments tomorrow in the Sunset. I don't think that's realistic, or anyone really expects that. But trying to find paths to get people to embrace apartments that frankly are already there.
Obviously, all of this campaigning is expensive.
Yeah.
Do you have more resources than you did 4 years ago?
Certainly we do. It's a little hard to disambiguate because Yimby Action is a national organization, right? We have 53 chapters in 20 plus states. So as the resources of the organization have grown, some of that is scaling elsewhere. On the other hand, the role that I am currently in certainly didn't exist between Yimby Action and Yimby Law and all that. We're a $3 million organization, and we have employees everywhere, really focusing on a lot of that. But this is still our largest chapter. We still have the most members in San Francisco. We have over 1,000 active members in the city. And certainly this is where many of our largest donors live and call home. I think most folks realize that San Francisco is strategically very important from a narrative standpoint even, right? It is, if you say housing crisis or housing shortage or whatever terms people variously use, this is the first place they think of. In 2018, we had one employee, right? Basically. All right. And now we have over 20. And while that's not all dedicated to just San Francisco, this is still an area that has outsized influence, and we continue to invest in, and we continue to see people invest in us here. An example of a business member I've been working with recently a lot, Brookfield, is doing the redevelopment of Stonestown. That's a really huge opportunity for San Francisco, and they've been an active and engaged business member.
What are you seeing as far as kind of exporting some of the stuff from San Francisco to other Yimbys around the country?
So one of the major things we're seeing is that housing is a top priority for voters. People care about this. This is showing up everywhere. It may be more exacerbated in San Francisco, but you're probably still paying too much for rent in Dallas or in Arlington or in Minneapolis or wherever these places that we have these chapters that are active, that are growing. And people care about that, right? This is a winning issue. If we push our electeds to be better on it, and they take that to heart, a pro-housing message can come in a lot of ways, and we're here to support each other and learn from each other, and give each other those tools. We've been doing it a little bit longer here in a more organized fashion, but we're still a young movement. We still haven't been around that long. I have T-shirts that are older than Yimby, right? It's so. I also try to keep that in mind. We're also still learning even here, even in the place that we've been doing it for, not even quite a decade.